Hello, this is Marie White again. So I shared in the previous video about credit repair services, how they do not assist you at all. It's just a waste of money and it doesn't give you the result that you need to repair your credit. And it's very important, and I'll stress this again, that you contact your creditors. Let them know your situation. If you're unemployed, you're not able to pay at that time, let them know what's going on. When you're able to pay, just make a commitment to pay. Let them know how much you can pay every month and be diligent, be consistent, because it's going to show them that they can trust you. Now, as you keep paying every month, the creditors also report that you've been paying. And so, as they do that, your score improves over time. So if it started out as a low score, maybe 400, 500 points, like mine was 530 points, over the course of time, those bad debts, charged offs, um, they, they do not affect your credit as much. Even if you file bankruptcy, over time, those files do not affect your credit after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, because they lose their effect on your credit score over time. If you pay the monthly payments on your bills, the ones that are good, the good cards that you have, good loans that you have, you get points towards that. If you're still paying off any bad debt, you still get some points towards that. And it sends a signal to other creditors that you apply for services with that you can be trusted. So it's a test of your character, because they want to make sure that if I lend you money, will I get my money back with interest? Will you keep your commitment to pay me? So just because you've had a bad problem in the past with debt, it doesn't have to follow you all your life, 20 years, 15 years. As long as you do your monthly commitments and you pay your debts and you stick to your commitment with your creditors, then your credit will improve in time. There's a lot of good information out there on the internet about how to repair your credit for free. Great information, advice from people like Clark Howard that helped me also. Um, there has been information out there about using 30% of your credit utilization with your credit card, and it will help your score. It does help, but it's a slower process in order to improve your score. So what helped my score to go above 800 points were the things that helped me were I used less than 2% of my credit. Um, and as I did that, how I did the 2% really was I would use the credit card and pay it before the statement came. And as my creditors saw that, then that I wasn't dependent on the credit card month by month and using the credit card and struggling to pay it, then they gave me more increase and more increase. And when you're trying to rebuild your credit and it's been damaged for a little while, then even if you can get a credit card with $500 credit limit, I think you should still accept it, as long as it doesn't have a fee, an annual fee attached to it, and a creditor is willing to give you a $500 credit limit, even a $300 credit limit. As long as there's no fee, it will improve your score. If you apply that principle where you charge and pay it off before the statement comes, or if you're going to charge the amount, it has to be manageable debt that you're not struggling to pay month by month. You pay it in full when the statement arrives. If you do that consistently, month by month, your score will improve. It will improve. So, like those creditors that started you out at $500 as your credit limit, after you show them that you're responsible with your credit and you're using the credit wisely, you can negotiate with them. You can call them back after a year and say, Mr. Creditor, you can fill in the blank, whichever company it is, and you let them know, I've been a good customer. I've paid this bill on time. I don't abuse my credit. I don't max them out, which maxing out the credit card, using all of the limit on there, it does affect your score. It lowers it. So when you say that to them and you show them that you are trustworthy and they will get their money from you, they'll say, "Well, ma'am, sir, how much do you need? Like, how much do you want us to raise your limit?" And you can negotiate. You can say, "Well, what about $2,000?" Be bold enough to ask for what you want, because guess what? If you never ask, you never know what you can get. So you ask, they say, "Well, ma'am, sir, um, you've been showing that you're a good customer. You've been doing what's right for a year. Okay, we'll check your credit again." And then they check it and they see, and they raise it. It's not a difficult thing at all. It's not a difficult thing. And sometimes people think that, well, why should I even try to improve my credit? What difference does it really make anyway? I already know I have to pay a deposit every time. But the reason why you have to pay a deposit is because your credit is not giving a creditor confidence that you'll pay them back because of your payment history, paying late, maxing out the credit cards, going above the limit sometimes. But if you keep within that 2% range, then you'll be able to get good credit over time. And the creditors will even raise your score a lot of times without you even asking, because they see that you're diligent. And when you do have good credit, you don't pay deposits like the average person does. You don't have to pay deposits down for an apartment like other people would. Sometimes people pay a month and a half deposit, security deposit. They're getting utilities in their name. They have to put a deposit for that. Just deposits, look, anytime you've had an issue in the past with a credit and a creditor sees that it has not improved, then you pay for that. So when you're able to raise your credit score above 700 points, then you're going to see things are just opening up for you that wasn't there before. A lot of times creditors try to come after you, trying to get you to sign up for things. You can get reward cards. When you apply for loans, you can determine how much you want to pay. When you go to a car dealership and you need a vehicle, I'll give you my example. I went to a dealer to get a credit card, not a credit card, I'm sorry, to get a loan for a car. Went to check out a dealership to get a car. And when I went there, I was almost ripped off with good credit because the person that was assisting me just thought that they could just take advantage of me because I needed a car at the time. But I was determined in my mind that I'm only going to pay a certain amount of money for my car, and I'm only going to pay a certain payment amount every month. And so I stuck to that. I was patient enough to wait for what I needed. So the company that I decided to go with was Carvana. I recommend them because they're trustworthy. Whatever they write in their documents, they don't do anything tricky. There's nothing hidden. Everything is upfront. You can go online, you look at the car you like. They deliver the car to you. They're very upfront in everything. You can have the car for 7 days, decide you don't want it, take it back. Have them take it back, and they'll take it back. They have very few exclusions in terms of taking a car back. It has to be something very serious for them not to take it back. And they spell it out. So they tell you up front, this is how we will allow you to return the car to us. So there's no gimmicks. There's nothing hidden. There's no gimmicks. And long story short, I got the car that I needed at the price that I needed with the payment I needed. And it was because I decided that I'm not going to allow anybody to rip me off. So as we are patient and as we make up in our minds what we want and that we'll be diligent with it, we'll get it. Credit improves in time. It's not overnight. It's not within a month or two. For you to go from a lower score to a higher score, it takes time, but it's worth it. Because when you get to that point where you can get all the things you want and there's no payment you have to pay down and you don't need a co-signer on all those things, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a burden off you. So those are the things I just wanted to share, and just to let you know that your credit can improve in time. And if you are patient and diligent, things do get better. Have a good night.